Michelonis, we do the same thing. We say, all right, Mr. T, all right, Mr. Michelonis, big shout out. Thank you for participating in this coaching session. First of all, I want to give you a lot of praise for your leadership. All of the work that you do with professional development, the SPED department is incredibly awesome. I appreciate you. And now in this coaching role that we're starting and continuing next year, big props to you. I do have a question about this coaching session. I watched the coaching session in preparation for this session, and I have a question for you that I would like you to think about. Why is it important for a teacher to see a model, an exemplar model, and identify the gap between them or what they're doing and the exemplar? Why is that important?
So they can make a change.
Yeah.
So that it also is more, like if they identify it, then it's more powerful than being told. If they're like, oh, that's why that works, then if they find the gap, then it's easier for them to bridge the gap.
Absolutely. So I agree with that 100%. And so what I would like to do is hone in on that and show you an exemplar of, not really an exemplar, but an example, I should say, of a coach asking a teacher to look at a model and then identify a gap. And you can write this down. I want you to think about what the coach is saying and doing in order to have the teacher identify the gap. What is the coach saying and doing in order to have the teacher identify the gap? This video starts right after the coach has been praised. I'm sorry, the teacher has been praised. Okay. We need to know this. We need to learn this. Like, those kinds of conversations that you have, I think it's like those are just like big praises that I want to give you and shout out. So, what I want to talk about today is this continued push that I think that we need to all get better at, and that is monitoring student work in real time. Okay? So I want to show you this video, and as you watch this video, I want you to think about how the teacher is monitoring. I think you can write it down. I want you to think about what the teacher, as she's monitoring, I want you to think about what the teacher is saying and doing in order to be able to check the kids' responses. Okay? What is she saying and doing in order to be able to check the kids' responses? And then they watch the video. Or had evidence that the kids were following her instructions.
Well, the first thing she said was clear instructions and expectations. And even about the misconceptions is what we talked about a little bit. So she said, you're going to get tripped up on this, and this is exactly what I'm going to be looking for. So it's clear instructions that this is what you're supposed to have down.
Right, so let me stop you there. So I think what you talked about there was very important. I know where you're going to get tripped up. This is where you're going to get tripped up. In my opinion, that would be exemplar, right? And so she is saying, what I want you to do is show me evidence. Think about this. Show me evidence. And she's going to compare that evidence against where she thinks they're going to be tripped up. So against that exemplar. I think that's very, very important. So thank you for pointing that out. What else did you want?
Well, some of the things she said, but I remember she reached around to one girl and marked off paper. So she's marking paper, actively checking for what they're doing, aggressive monitoring. You need to, what else is there, track paper, I'm talking about,
Pacing, positive load, making sure that the evidence that the kids were important to monitor the quality of student work. Up to this idea of, I'm going to be able to check and see what the evidence is that the kids are learning according to my example. And so, go ahead.
And she seemed like she checked every paper very quickly, marked a check or this or whatever they were going to do.
Right. So think about that. So in this next question, why is it important to monitor the quality of student work?
1,000 reasons, so we can know what they're
doing their independent practice. students' independent work and determine whether they're learning. Alright? And so, what I want you to do, go ahead and write this down. The way we're going to do that is we're going to continue to use a pathway. Because you do that. You get your, I see you do your clipboard and you have your pen. Pen in hand is very important here. And to not only like monitor what the kids are doing on a regular pathway, but the other thing that I really want you to think about is to monitor the quality of the student work and checking the answers against an exemplar that you put. In this case, the exemplar was something that she mentioned was going to be a misconception. Your exemplar is going to be something that is visible, like a model, for example.
Don't say mine is different because of that.
This was a science class, but it may be.
All right. So, what did you see there?
So you had your questions prepped, and they were open-ended. You affirmed and expanded on, I'm assuming, all of his answers. You showed a video of what you wanted to see. You made him take notes, and you gave him an action step.
Was there something different about the order in which all of this happened compared to your session with Mr. T that you can think about?
I didn't give him a guiding question to think about while he was watching the video. And yeah, so I showed the video. He didn't take any notes, but then we came up with an action step together. And then, I mean, the questions weren't prepared beforehand, but I feel like they were open-ended, but they probably could have been better. But it was already a pretty, it's a really narrow topic already.
Exactly. So your, what I noticed was that your action step was almost predetermined, which is totally fine. I also want to harp in on or focus in on the order in which the videos that you showed. So you showed him your or his video first, and then the exemplar video afterwards. And so I want us to think about that and why it's important to show the exemplar first. Why do you think it would be important to show the exemplar first?
It's easier to see the holes.
Yeah.
Easier to see what you're missing.
Absolutely. So your action step, Ms. Michelon, is to show a model and see the gap.
Okay.
That's the what.
So I should have showed him the teacher channel video first, and then
Exactly.
showed him his. What if you do it? So what if the coaching session was like 2 days later or whatever, and he doesn't remember what happened?
That's fine because you still show the exemplar first, and then you can show him to it as a reminder. You can do it back to back, but I think it's more beneficial to show the exemplar first.
Okay.
That way they get to see like a good example prior. Okay, so the what is show model and see the gap, and how you're going to do it is, like you mentioned, you're going to ask a question. I usually start with why is it important to, you know. So you ask your guiding question, like you mentioned, and then number 2, you're going to show the exemplar first, and you're either going to show the model of yourself doing it or the model of him doing it after that.
Okay.
And then you're going to ask him to identify the gap between his or the teacher's practice and the exemplar practice. Now, you mentioned preparation, and I know this is kind of adding to the whole idea, but we're going to use the, I'm going to encourage you to use the Get Better Faster script, and I'll share it with you, so that all of this makes a perfect fluid motion. Okay, so repeat to me what your action step is and how you're going to do it.
So next time I'm going to show the models so they can identify the gap. So basically I'll have a guiding question. I could use your sentence frame why is it important to, and then I'll show the model, show themselves, and they'll identify the gap, and then we'll come up with an action step together.
Perfect. So let's practice a little bit, and we'll script out what Mr. T's thing could have looked like, and then I will do the same. And just with this action step. So how would that look?
This one or
No,
mine?
no, yours.
Okay. So you mean like what would my guiding question be?
Yeah.
So I guess why is it important to have it could either a calm start or a strong start to class?
Strong start.
Strong start. So why is it important to have a strong start to class?
Why
Would
don't you
be
script it
the
out?
question. Well, I wanted to.
Oh, okay, you were thinking out loud.
Yeah, I think I brought this out loud.
Oh, that's fine.
So the question is why is it important to have a strong start to class? He would answer, because it makes the rest of your day amazing. And then, or whatever he would say. And then, but I think I want an even more detailed model guiding question while he's watching it.
Mhm.
And be like, so while you're watching this video, write down 2 to 3 things that you notice that this person's doing to have a strong start to class. And then watch it. And then how do you positively frame watch yourself not do this?
What has worked with Mr. T
Uh-huh.
and works with other teachers
Yeah.
is to say, let's be reflective. And we always kind of pre-game a little bit,
Right.
but let's be reflective and think about your practice
Mhm.
and what you're watching yourself do and what is the gap, because we want to move towards that. He always takes those things very positively.
Yeah.
So just being really short and direct really works with him and a lot of the teachers.
Yeah.
Like, and you can even preface it with saying, you know, we never take things negatively. We always just want to get better faster because we can all get better.
Right.
Mhm.
So model, so they're seeing what does this person do to have a strong start to class, and while you watch a video of yourself and your own strong start, let's be reflective on things that we can improve on.
Let's be reflective, and because you're showing it second.
Right.
Let's be reflective and identify some things that would make your practice better.
Make it better. Okay. So I have why is it important to have a strong start to class, and then he answers, and then while do I have to write this word for word, or can I shorthand it?
If you can shorthand it, that's fine.
Okay. While watching the video.
As you write it word for word.
Think about. Well, yeah. Well, I shortened video.
Mhm.
Think about what he does for strong start. Should it be think or write down 2 to 3 things that you notice that he does?
You can say specifically.
Yeah. Right.
I like that actually.
Cool. And then watch model, and then so this would be, so if I say, okay, now while watching yourself, let's be reflective and think of the different things we could improve upon.
And think about what things you're doing that are different from the things that are happening with the exempt fund.
So while watching,
And he's super good about it.
yes, you.
You are good.
Should it be let's be reflective or let's identify things that you're doing differently? Is that what you said? Okay. And then watch. Oh. So. And then
so.
what did you notice?
Mhm.
I guess would be.
Yeah. And when he hits, the target, because it'll come out. Then you.
Which he did.
Right, he did. And so then you
Yes.
just hit it right there, and then you're prepared for the action step. Exactly, I agree. Now your action step is X, Y, Z.
I agree with you. I agree with you. Can I just say that?
Mm-hmm.
Do I have to get
Yeah.
all wordy like
No,
that?
no. The less wordy, the better. I agree with you. Your action step that's the other thing he appreciates. As soon as you say I agree with you, he goes, that's what she wanted me to say.
Mm-hmm.
And now you go into your action step. It just shows him that you're really honoring that preparation.
Should I?
It's really,
Is it better to tell them like this is your action step, or say, what do you think we can do to do that to make whatever you noticed happen?
it's a coaching session.
Right.
So it's better to say your action step is,
Okay. Well, there's different types of coaching.
I know, but this process and with these teachers,
Yeah.
your action step is.
Yeah.
That leads me to, well, go ahead, and then I'll talk about some quick fixes for it.
Yeah.
That I noticed. Okay. Oh, so you're perfect.
Mm-hmm.
So I heard you process all of that. I want to show you mine.
Okay.
And so we'll do these in a minute. But so after action step is stated, ask, like you said, the guiding question. Why is it important to have a strong start?
Mm-hmm.
Wait for his responses.
Mm-hmm.
Great, I agree. I'm going to show you an exemplar.
Okay.
And it always is beneficial for me to say to the coaches, or to the teachers, write this down.
Mm-hmm.
And like I did with you right now, to write this down. And I want you to think about what the teacher is doing and saying to get the students to respond. And I like your idea of 3 things.
Mm-hmm.
Then you show the video,
Mm-hmm.
and the teacher should be writing. And I do say thank you for writing this down.
Yeah.
And then identifying the gap. Show the teacher the video or model it, and then just ask, like you said, what is the difference between what you're doing and the exemplar. So our scripts were very, very similar.
Mm-hmm.
And once they hit it, and then you say, okay, then your action step is, this week is to short and sweet. Some quick fixes that I have for you is that your praise took like a long, long time. It took 4 minutes and 8 seconds, and that's a lot of praise.
I got
And
lots of praise.
I know, I know we do. We have a lot of praise.
You can just be really negative.
I know that, but 2 or 3 things for coaching sessions, time and all of that. We want to get to the other pieces of the relay. So the shorter the praise, the better.
Sure.
And like we said, identifying the action steps prior, like you were saying, I think that gets us actually identifying the action steps instead of what you just said. Like your question was perfect. Should I tell them or should I have a discussion about it? Telling them is much more direct because you guys had a long discussion.
So
about
telling him instead of. Yeah.
Because then teachers go off on like, oh,
Right. And then it like sometimes, okay, so my action step was write your do now or whatever you want them to do on the board. And but that may not work for everyone. So it could also, so he turned it into what I want them to take out is going to be written on the board. And I was like, that works. Because sometimes his directive, especially during 4th period, is just get out what we were doing and do it.
Right, right.
And so I was like, but they don't know, and then you're spending your whole time telling kids and economy of words.
Exactly.
And so he did that today. He had it take out, and it was just notebook. And I was like, all right, cool,
Good.
perfect.
Good.
Like it's a great start.
That's how you got to it.
Yeah.
Which is great. But to get there quicker.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So let's practice a little bit. I'm Mr. T.
Hi, Mr. T.
Today was a rough day, you know.
Well, you did amazing, and you look great. So, please tell me, Mr. T, why is it important to have a strong start to class?
Oh, well, it just gets the kids ready to go. You know, I'm having a lot of problems with like the kids taking their time. I have to say names and all that. So I'm really appreciative to get some help in that area.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you actually did really well today. You had a very strong beginning. It did went a lot at the end, but you had a great start and you have a great idea. I agree with you. There's the words. So I want to show you an exemplar of a teacher that has a good strong start. It's about 2 minutes long. But while watching the video, I want you to think about what he does for a strong start. And then I want you to write down 2 or 3 examples of his actions that make for that strong start. Okay? Okay. All right. What did you write down?
So I wrote down that he said directions were short. He stood at the front of the line inside of the hallway and gave all the directions so the kids knew exactly what they were doing. He had something for them to do as soon as they got to class. Everybody knew the rules and he was like really good about it.
Yeah, that's what I noticed too. All right, so now we're going to watch a video of you. This was taken this morning. It was just you, your strong start for 4th period. And I want you to write down, or sorry, while you're watching, let's identify what you did differently than him. So if you could write 2 to 3 things that you did differently than the exemplar. Play. Yeah, it's beautiful. What did you notice?
Well, so yeah, I didn't give any directions. I just kind of let the kids come inside. I shook hands with everybody, but that was cool. But then I'm like screaming at kids on what to do, and everything was kind of a little bit chaotic.
Yeah. All right. I agree with you. So would I then jump right into the action step, or would I explain myself more?
No.
Okay. So you identified.
Yeah, because I didn't have a do now ready for them to go.
Right. So, which is exactly what he said. Yeah, I agree with you. And so your action step for this week, and what I need to see by our next coaching session, is that do now, whatever it may be, is on the board. So if it's taking out that packet, it's on the board. If it's doing a question, it's on the board. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So cut.
Yeah.
Action step, we're going to use the Get Better Faster tool. So your action step is strong start. That's the what.
Right.
And how you're going to do that
Okay.
is, and he likes to do this, well, what? Okay. And how? Okay. You know. And so,
does with all those papers.
I don't know. But, so it kind of frames it that way and Get
Yeah.
Better Faster. So if we can just do that little piece again, that'd be
Sure. Okay.
Your action
So I agree with you. Your action step is you're going to focus on, or the what is strong start, and how you're going to improve upon that is having that do now written on the board, whatever it may be. So if it's grabbing things out, that's on the board, doing a problem on the board.
Awesome. I like that.
You're going to do great.
So the next time you're coaching, think about this, and then when we use the protocol, it turns from action step to scripting to practice, and then because it's chunked this way, strong start is a very small part of the day. It's not a whole observation, but it's really going to be beneficial for him to have these tools and work to get better at it.
Yeah, yeah. And then after the video, I don't remember if it was videotaped or not, we did more brainstorming on what a do now could look like. Because I've told him before.
Yeah, those discussions afterwards, after the
same.
practice, you know, and that's what he likes. Again, that's another thing that he likes to do a lot.
Yeah.
Is like get a lot of different ideas. So it's great.
Cool.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks.